Hey, so this is a video response to Ashleigh Tribbles. We're like we're friends on Facebook and we talked a couple times, and she's actually a really chill person. And I really appreciated her making a very long vlog, and I appreciate long vlogs because I like to make them myself. But she made a very long vlog that I was able to watch yesterday when I was doing my hair. Yes. So while I was doing my hair and watching Ashley's video, I did get a chance to check out the article that she was talking about in her video, and it was called "Our Plus Size." It says the problem with plus size fashion. Let me get it. Are plus size women the problem with plus size fashion? Question mark. And it was written by someone named Tyler McCall, and I'm looking at them, and from the little picture of them that I'm able to see, they look like a very thin person. So I was just like, all right then. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. We have a thin, white, able-bodied person who's speaking out about perhaps plus size women are the problem with plus size fashion. And I've made videos before about different plus size companies that I really think could do better, or that I love, or that I just don't like. And I saw a lot of shaming in the article about plus size women, the consumers of plus size fashion, complaining and being upset about the lack of options, and not to mention the lack of quality. And I just think that that's like, it's very unfortunate that someone would take time out of their life to address an issue that they first don't have, and to get a bunch of people that are obviously very privileged. Reading this article, there were a lot of points where I kind of just had to take a step back, as Ashleigh did in her video, because I was just so like, I was taken aback, honestly, by the delusion that this person must be exhibiting to write something like this. Because, they're talking about Marc Jacobs, you feel me? They're talking about Marc Jacobs at this point. They're talking about a level of fashion and a level of economic spending power that I personally am not interested in engaging in, because I don't feel like I need to be spending hundreds of dollars just to look presentable, in my own opinion. I feel like what Ashleigh said in her video was something about straight size people who wear under a size 12, that get to, buy clothes for very cheap. And I do agree. I do notice that a lot of times I go places, the bigger something is, the more I will be charged. And I'm talking just like a thrift shop. I went to a thrift shop and they didn't have prices on anything, but I noticed that the thinner women that would bring things up, their things would cost nothing, and they were getting really nice pieces. And the one sweater that I found that was an XL that I knew would fit me, they tried to charge me 25 outright. And I saw another person, two people in fact, that were smaller than me, much smaller than me, grabbed two sweaters that were way, like, they were obviously vintage, and very nicely made. They were definitely way nicer than the piece that I had picked out, and it was very cheap. It was under $10. And I was like, wow, like, they really out here gouging us. But that's not something that I need to write an article to tell you about. That's something that's already being said. I think my problem with articles, especially written by people who are privileged enough to not be having the plights that they're talking about other people having, I think my problem with that is the fact that it's already been said. How many videos do fat women have to make? Do fat female bodied people, fat female coerced people, fat people that identify as femme, how many videos do we have to really make? How many write-ups do we have to fucking write up? How many emails, letters do we have to send out to get the message across that we're unhappy with the market? Because it's obviously bullshit. It's obviously bullshit. You feel me? And it takes me to another place as well when I look at this, because the pictures that they're using are all of fat white women, and that's the bane of my anger about this fucking shit. Because you know what, as a fat white woman, I'm sure that things is not easy. I'm not trying to, I'm an intersectional person. I can understand how having white privilege doesn't cancel out fat phobia. I feel you. But at the same time, I have so much disdain for these extremely white passing POC and these white fucking femmes out here that are able to, like, be in the space, get the fucking coverage but have no fucking cares about the fact that like their privileges are why they're where they're at. A lot of the women that I see featured, and I'm not like trying to like say that like I don't have privilege and I'm not a part of this group in ways, but I definitely have pulled back from trying to be some sort of fashionista, some sort of like fat plus size icon or some shit like that, because for me, fashion, getting dressed, it's just about my vibe. Some days, you know what, my vibe is not there. Sometimes my vibe is not at plus size fashionista, top flight security. You feel me? Sometimes it's not that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and I'm happy that I'm able to find things in my size. You know, when I look around that perhaps were not for me, and I was able to make it work, or or I'm just like not on my top level. You feel me? Because I think that's another issue that I want to talk about separately, obviously. But it's like, as a fat woman, we're taught like that we gotta look extra fucking good just to be worth anything. Just to be base level attractive, we gotta go above and motherfucking beyond. We gotta have brows on point, lips on point, eyes on point, hair on fucking point. Don't come out here with your hair fucked up, fat bitch. And that's what we're taught. That's something that all fat bitches out here can really be like, damn, that's real. Because every fat bitch at some point in time was coerced into trying to get into beauty culture that was not made for us. Beauty culture wasn't made for fat women. Beauty culture was made for thin, able-bodied white femmes out here. And so when I see you fat femmes that are white, that are able-bodied to a degree, that are like conventionally attractive, y'all are out here stunting like, you know, like, oh, we have it the worst. Oh, let us be the face of some shit. But it's like, be the face, but really fucking reach back and really look at who is not benefiting from you talking right now. You know, I see in this article, and I'm gonna put a link in the bottom. You know, as I said, all these white women talking about how it's so like not hard to find fat fashion, or how it's not so hard to be seen. The end of the article actually is what really fucked me up, because before I get to what really fucked me up, they got this picture of Melissa McCarthy on Elle. And Melissa McCarthy was on Elle magazine in a big ass coat. And it made me think of when they had Adele on the cover, or when they had Gabourey Sidibe. How they have these fat women, but they never show their full bodies. And if they do, they're obviously covered up. But for the most part, they'll stick with a face, or they'll stick from the tits up. They really won't get into your belly. They really won't get into your legs. They really won't get into your feet. They really won't even get into your hands. They don't want any signifiers of fatness, really. Because even in this picture, Melissa McCarthy looks like she's been altered to shit. Okay, they've done elongated her neck. You could fucking tell all this shit. And that's what also irks me, is like fat representation is so fucking limited. It's so minimal. But yet here we go again, taking a fat person's body and distorting it so it's not that fat. It's more acceptable this way. Because you can't just be fat. You can't be sloppy. You feel me? You can't be looking slovenly. Okay? All those words, the S words, the sloths. You can't be the sloppy, slovenly fat bitch. Because if you are, then you are obviously, because another thing fat women are taught, especially, that we are like some sort of ambassador to fatness. And don't be a fat black bitch. You know what I mean? Because then you're not only an ambassador to fatness, you're an ambassador to fat blackness. You feel me? Because we know in this country there is a connotation of fat black women in this country. And it's obviously very negative, and it's so insidious, because being of size and being a person of color, I recognize so quickly, you know, when the environment shifts and when I am either not wanted, or I'm being seen as just not intelligent, seen as scenery, not really part of the environment, seemingly part of the aesthetic, not really a person, just a prop. And I think that when I see Melissa McCarthy on Elle, I'm again recognizing this is another fat white femme who has exposure. Okay, because again, that is a problem that I do have, is that there are a lot of fat white femmes in the scene in terms of plus size fashion, and it's the same fucking looks. It's the same shit I keep seeing. Fashion is extremely like volatile, I feel. I feel like fashion encompasses so many things, but we know we know, as we're seeing capitalism all up in that shit, white supremacy, Eurocentric standards of beauty, we're looking for the fat Kim Kardashian, the fat Beyonce. We're not letting someone be fat and express the way they want to, because once that happens, once you explore fat fashion outside of what's trendy, that's when we get into the arena where you could potentially look sloppy or ugly or Jesus behind the times. And the article even explains that plus size fashion gets fashion like a year later. We got peplum tops like way the fuck after they was hot, and then they still got them, and the high low skirts. But it's just like when you see things like that as a fat femme consumer, you're gonna go elsewhere. How many of us are out here DIYing? We're doing the damn thing. But this article is just vomit, because all it does is regurgitate the same bullshit that puts a victim blaming spin on why there's not more options available for plus size women, period. Fuck being trendy. Fuck Torrid. Fuck anybody who's out here trying to get you to buy a credit card. Fuck that shit. There are so many shops out there, and not little shops, I'm talking chains, that just do not offer plus sizes, and there's no good fucking reason, because there are a lot of plus size people out here looking for fucking clothes. So it's one of those things where the money that's being made by plus size fashion designers is going to the people that have good price points, but it is also unfortunately going to people who don't have good price points, who do not give a fuck about quality, and who do not give a fuck about actual fashion. Actually trying to think about the consumer and say, why, like, who is my demographic and why would I want them to wear my clothes? It's either a million different styles that are not, like, there's no concept. It's like a million different styles, but at the same time, it's very obviously bitten. Not to mention, sidebar, fat bitch clothes always got a little pocket. Why? What the fuck is a little pocket for? I want to know. Because I can't put shit in there, okay? If it's for a snack, it's not big enough. All right, let me tell you, I stay snacking, and I've never been able to fit my snacks inside of any type of contraption that looked like a little ass 3 by motherfucking 3 pocket, bitch. 3 inches by 3 inches is not a real pocket, boo-boo. Stop it. Stop it. Now, let me finish up this video. Now, the last point I wanted to make about this article was about the negative feedback that in-betweenies get. The people that are not seemingly fat enough to be in plus size fashion. I'm not going to say that there isn't annoyance with people who are between sizes 12 to even 18. And I feel like that's because a lot of the straight sizes, I've been places where I have seen people in sizes between 12 and 18 be able to fit in the straight sizes, the elastic waistbands or the oversized trend, you know what I mean? Those people weren't missing out. Those people were still getting it. So I feel like while being someone of size is definitely not a one size fits all, no pun intended, but it's one of those things where the focus has never been on women ranging from sizes 24 to like 32 and beyond. A lot of the plus size fashion designers do cater to the 12 to 18s to the 20s. Those people are getting plus size fashion brands. I feel like the thing is, the people that are angry and annoyed, myself included, we're not 12 to 18s or even 20s. So we're not shopping at plus size retailers out here a lot of times because they don't go to our size, or they have like this really shitty way of trickling off the flyest fashions amongst the size 12 to 20s, and then when they get to 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32 and beyond, that's when it's like limited fucking supply and the most expensive fucking charges. So I think that with that being said, you are still privileged in an oppressed group. So just like light-skinned people need to sit the fuck down sometimes, thin ass, smaller fats, y'all could sit down sometimes. Y'all could really sit down sometimes, because a lot of what you guys are saying, other people are saying, and they have a lot more fucking experience, not to mention a lot more fucking oppression to deal with than like someone that is, say, size 12 to 18. Granted, I'm not by any means trying to play oppression Olympics and say that, like, you know, you're experiencing what you experience is like less damaging to you, because I don't believe that at all. But I do believe that when you're in a space, when you're in a community, there is such thing as a respect to the people that are experiencing things that you are not fucking experiencing. So if you're size 12, how you gonna sit here and talk about you can't find clothes? That is crazy. That is something that is not at all, that's something that would be seen as tone deaf, because a size 12 is not struggling out here like a size 28 to find clothes. Period. I'm talking about finding clothes, period. This is talking about trendy fashion. This is talking about people who are like middle class and above, that have the spending power to be sitting here and be saying, yes, I'm gonna go to ASOS and buy me a $300 fucking ball gown and wear it never. Okay, like that's just where I'm going with this. I'm taking capitalism a little bit out of it and just really just talking about the fact that like plus size fashion could never be our fault. We are the consumers. We exist in this body, and this body is ours. And we have no reason to be doubting our worth or anything like that, because someone will not take the initiative to fucking create a solution to the problem that is fucking that is it's degrading. It's gross. It's inappropriate. You know? It's like, unless you're a fat person who's been that fat person in a group of people that were straight size, that had privilege over you in terms of their body size, and just had to just float around the store looking at some bracelets, looking at some sunglasses, because you know damn well if you try to look at the stuff, no one's gonna help you, and you know that it don't fit you, so why waste your time? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like internally struggling to try to belong and try to fit in. At this point in my life, I'm above that, and if I want to go shopping with my thinner friend, I will, but I will also take time to do things that are going to make me happy and that are going to serve me. So if I go to a place where I know there's a Torrid, maybe I'll hit it up. Perhaps my friend will come with me. But then we're going to hit pretzel time, and that's when it's going to be about me, okay? Because I'm not about it. I'm not about being, putting myself in a position where I know I'm going to feel that way. But that is the reality of being a fat femme bitch in this society. We are out here. We are looking for the fashions, but there are times where we know we can't, and we got to just sit the fuck down. So you in-betweenies, y'all can sit the fuck down when people who are fucking death fat, morbidly obese, whatever the fuck they're using as a signifier to let you know they're not kind of fat. They're not chubby. They're fat as fuck, and they're sick of fucking having to scrounge and scramble to find something that should be fucking available. So, boop. All right? And my last point that I want to make, at the bottom, someone was talking about fat women don't need publications because the internet, because we're out here. Tumblr is this fucking big. Let's be real. Tumblr is wonderful. Tumblr, in ways, for me, depending on who you follow and depending on how you got your shit set up, it's kind of like a paradise where you can see all the things that the media does not want you to see. And in ways, I appreciate Tumblr. But to say that fat women don't need to be in a publication or featured or represented more is crazy. And again, these are fat white femmes talking, and I scream, because it's like, yo, before Gabba Rice to the Bay, when the fuck did I see a big fat ass black bitch other than Monique? And then when we talk about Monique, we have to be real about the fact that she's a body shaming ass person who lost weight, is still overweight, or rather still is fat, but yet is getting all these privileges because she's done the right thing. She's a good fatty. She's lost some of the weight. We give a fuck. You know what I mean? So, being real, when am I seeing myself represented? I'm not. So the fact that I went out there and tried to represent myself, it was not easy. So it's like, in ways, it's like the way that these people are talking, it's just like so easy breezy. It's just not at all fucking solid in the way that they're speaking, or at all coming from a place where they could really talk about what's happening. All the bloggers they featured, one was anonymous and just talking shit, and was obviously a capitalist scumbag. And the other person was this person, Nicolette Mason, who I've seen on Tumblr a bunch of times. And I'm not trying to hate, I'm not trying to take away, but I feel like in ways it's like, okay, I get it. You're blonde, you're white, you're fat. Okay. I'm supposed to be thinking that you look good. okay. I can't anymore. Eurocentric standards of beauty disgust the shit out of me because it's one of those things where I see it all the time. It's programmed in my mind that I'm supposed to like this shit. There's times I find myself being fascinated with a basic ass white person just because I've been programmed to think that they are attractive or some sort of like beautiful beauty definition, and they're not. And I feel like unlearning that is extremely hard. It's extremely triggering because in ways I do feel like, you know, it could spin in ways to being ableist, to being lookist, and that's not what I'm trying to be. But I think that whenever I see a fat white person who's conventionally attractive talking anything about representation, I kind of have to turn it down because I don't see me. I see me because I put myself out there, and I've been called everything under the sun, and I've gone through a lot of depressive moments where I was like, damn, like maybe I should like go into hiding or pull back or just not exist so much online. There's a lot to be said for these plus size folks out here, especially plus size folks of color who are queer, who are out here living. There's something to be said for that kind of visibility because it does not come without a lot of scrutiny, critical fucking evil just being focused on you. So many people just trying to take you fucking down a notch that you built for yourself. So with all this being said, I want y'all to check out this article. It's complete hogwash. It's garbage. But I think that it really, in ways, kind of just shows itself for what it is. You know what I mean? This is more white feminist garbage, you know, laden with sizist claims and capitalist elitist bullshit where they're just constantly letting you know you need to have money or else you shouldn't be speaking, and you need to be attractive and have hair like this and have skin like this and have your body altered through fucking Photoshop like this so that you can fucking be seen too. The people that you see 9 times out of 10, they're showing you a picture that's been altered because when we look at it, we want to be like, oh, I want to look like that. I want to be like that. I used to Photoshop my pictures so the fuck much just so that I could like keep up, just so that I could like keep appearances that I was like fat and flawless. But I have flaws, and my flaws don't take away from the fact that I'm fucking the shit. But it's like the representation factor, wanting to be seen, wanting to represent yourself as fat, and knowing good and goddamn well that people are not going to accept that, leads you to do so many things to try and marginalize yourself and fit in where you're clearly not meant to fit in. So I hope y'all took something from this, because I did. I'm going to go finish, you know, curling my hair, but I'm going to see y'all. Let me grab 2 sweaters that were way, like, they were obviously vintage and very nicely made. You know, they were definitely way nicer than the piece that I had picked out, and it was very cheap. It was under $10. And I was like, wow, like they really out here gouging us. But, you know, that's not something that I need to write an article to tell you about. That's something that's already being said. I think my problem with articles, especially written by people who are privileged enough to not be having the plights that they're talking about other people having, I think my problem with that is the fact that it's already been said. How many videos do fat women have to make? Do fat female bodied people, fat female chorus people, fat people that identify as femme, how many videos do we have to really make? How many write-ups need to be spending hundreds of dollars just to look presentable, in my own opinion? I feel like what Ashleigh said in her video was something about straight size people who wear under a size 12 that get to, you know, buy clothes for very cheap. And I do agree. I do notice that a lot of times I go places, the bigger something is, the more I will be charged. And I'm talking just like a thrift shop. I went to a thrift shop and they didn't have prices on anything, but I noticed that the thinner women that would bring things up, their things would cost nothing, and they were getting really nice pieces. And the one sweater that I found that was an XL that I knew would fit me, they tried to charge me $25 outright. And I saw another person, 2 people in fact, that were smaller than me, much smaller, to mention the lack of quality. And I just think that that's like, it's very unfortunate that someone would take time out of their life to address an issue that they first don't have, and to get a bunch of people that are obviously very privileged. Reading this article, there were a lot of points where I kind of just had to take a step back, as Ashleigh did in her video, because I was just so like, I was taken aback, honestly, by the delusion that this person must be exhibiting to write something like this. Because, you know, they're talking about Marc Jacobs, you feel me? They're talking about Marc Jacobs at this point. They're talking about a level of fashion and a level of economic spending power that I personally am not interested in engaging in because I don't feel like I. Hey, so this is a video response to Ashleigh Tribbles. We're like we're friends on Facebook and we talked a couple times and she's actually a really chill person and I really appreciated her making a very long vlog and I appreciate long vlogs because I like to make them myself. But she made a very long vlog that I was able to watch yesterday when I was doing my hair. Yes. So while I was doing my hair and watching Ashleigh's video, I did get a chance to check out the article that she was talking about in her video, and it was called "Our Plus Size." It says the problem with plus size fashion. Let me get it. Are plus size women the problem with plus size fashion? Question mark. And it was written by someone named Tyler McCall, and I'm looking at them and from the little picture of them that I'm able to see, they look like a very thin person. So I was just like, all right then. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. We have a thin, white, able-bodied person who's speaking out about perhaps plus size women are the problem with plus size fashion. And I've made videos before about different plus size companies that I really think could do better or that I love or that I just don't like. And I saw a lot of shaming in the article about plus size women, the consumers of plus size fashion, complaining and being upset about the lack of options and not